Okay guys, any last words?
See you in the spring.
We'll see how it comes out in a hole. Oh man! Can you do that again? I missed it.
And have a look at this other project down the back here. This is the car we bought for my son Harry. One of the ugliest cars we ever bought. So it's a 71 Plymouth Satellite Sebring, and it's run into something. So not those trees. Unfortunately, we got some people cleaning up, and they decided to dump them all down on front of the car. Anyway, it's a Sebring Plus, which is a luxury model, and some idiots made it into a police interceptor. But we can see past that coat of paint, and then all of a sudden it looks totally different. So of course Harry wants to make it into a Road Runner, so we plan to unfortunately the Road Runner hood is shot because they're getting a bit hard to find, so we're heading off to Carlisle this weekend, and hopefully we're going to find some of those pieces. It's been hit in the front obviously, but it's not structural. It's mainly just sheet metal, so when I get around the front to have a look. Interior is quite good, as in factory buckets, tough steering wheel. Obviously got a bit of work ahead of us. Harry's first Mopass, budget conscious. You know, these cars are getting really expensive these days. You know, we have to get what we can get. It's certainly a bit of an ugly version, but as in condition. We'll get some more footage. We're going to pull the front of this off this morning before we go out today, and then we're writing up a part for this. So here we go, we got the crashed Satellite, and we've got Harry on the job. So hello Harry. Hello. Got him turning some wrenches. This is the crash, looks pretty ugly, but we're hoping that structurally it's not too bad. A few new panels, a bit of this, a bit of that, bob's ya. So before I left America, I fully assembled the car as much as I could anyway, to make sure you got all the bits and pieces. There's so many differences in nuts and bolts and special brackets, so I got the car fully assembled. Wheels of Harry's choice, gave it a clean, pulled out the brakes, things ready to ship the car. So looks a bit different from when we first got it. It looks pretty cool actually. Harry can probably drive it just like that, but we won't. So that's pretty much prepared for shipping now. Everything doesn't line up perfect because it's got to come apart. Now this is getting ready for media blast. We didn't blast the engine bay because it just goes inside the car so much. We decided just to do the shell and the hang-on panels. There it is back from the blaster. Ready to put on the hoist to start doing some rust repairs. There's the lower quarters remade, over the wheel arches, some damage on the opposite wheel arch, and also the lower quarter again. And pretty straightforward stuff. Reuse the parts out. Now that's ready for high fill. That's all the repairs finished, and 2-pack epoxy primer. Now it's in high fill. So it's just about ready to go. There's Harry doing some work on the front guard. We had to convert a 72 guard to a 71, which is a different side marker light.
So been beavering away, can't sit still. As soon as one car's finished, on to the next one. The Daytona, if you've seen, is finished and running around reliably. There's still a couple little things I've got to do, but that's pretty normal when you build a car. I always say it takes about 12 months really to get to a car where you're happy with it. Sometimes you need a bit of a break, you come back to it and you pick up those little things that annoy you. So anyway, so the next project is 71 Plymouth GTX, which is a car I'm doing with my son Harry. Been chipping away with it. I've been a bit lazy, sorry about that with the videos. I've been concentrating on Doing it, unfortunately, when you're filming it as well and doing it, sometimes you just forget, you just move on and you just don't get around to it. This is an update. I'll show you a couple of photos of processes along the way that I've done on this car. Started off pretty sound. It had some really average quarter panel repairs on the back of the car that had been put on with self-tappers, which wasn't that flash. But luckily the patch panels were actually AMD patch panels, and I was able to take them off and rework them and put them on. It needed some lower outer quarter repairs and a little bit of wheel arch repairs on both sides, but that was the worst of it. The car actually is pretty solid. So yeah, so I've just been going through the bodywork first. Basically I've completed the shell. It's in high build primer now, which I'll show you behind. And in the colour of Harry's choice, which is a red, not a factory red, but a very period red colour. In fact, it's the same colour I painted my 71 Challenger, and he really liked that colour. It looks a bit like rally red. It's a bit stronger, but yeah, it looks really good on the cars. I'll give you a bit of a look around. So here it is, now looking much sharper than it did before. I'll show you this is the result of the quarter panels. I butt welded the patch panels on the bottom of the quarters. That was the worst of the rust, like I said. And then some repairs over the wheel arches. I also did replace the Dutchman panel. It was repairable, but the panel's only about $250. It was better just to put a brand new Dutchman panel in there, and it's beautiful. So the rest of the car just had typical dents that you'd expect for a car that's the age, but really basically straight. You know, compared to the cars I've been building lately, this was a dream. Moved really quite a long way ahead. I've done all, we've already been through the mechanicals, put a 355 rear end in it. Unfortunately not a limited slip, we might look into that a bit later on. Harry's on a bit of a budget, so I can't just go berserk and do whatever we feel like, but he'll probably improve the car as time goes on. I went through the fuel system, brake system, we did convert it to disc brakes, and of course I'll show you up the front here. I had a 440 laying around that I bought probably 5 years ago, condition unknown, just told it was a good running 440, which it's turned out that way. I'll show you some video of that as well, of startup and taking it for its first drive. Really sounds like a good sound motor, no smoke, no blow by, just a good running 440. It won't be a high compression, you know, HP motor, it'll just be a pollution 440, but it's a good starter. We put some headers on it, so it's got some extractors. Went through, you know, everything you'd need to go through, which was radiator, hoses, Welsh plugs, water pump. Didn't touch ignition or carburetor, so I took a bit of a risk on that. It's got a thermoquad, which I really quite like, and I had no idea if it'd be any good or not, and so far it seems perfect. The automatic choke works, which is unbelievable. Started right up, auto choke, and immediately started. We'll show you the picture of that. Converted it to disc brakes, I said before, but it's non-boosted discs, which I've done in quite a few cars now, I quite like. Yeah, so it was a factory air-conditioned car, and we're not going to put air conditioning on it immediately, but we are, in actual fact. I've got the air conditioning and the dash out of it right now because when we got the thing going, because we weren't doing a full resto, it was mainly let's get the thing up and running, get it making look nice and get it on the road. And as always, it tends to blow out, and one of the problems was the heater core was leaking in the air conditioning heater units. Dash really had to come out, so I thought, oh well, I may as well go through the dash, check that over, and I'll go through the air conditioning heating system, make sure all the valves are working, so hopefully when we put it all back together we can get some chance of getting it going. We also converted it to a slapstick floor shift, which we bought all these components at Carlisle, Pennsylvania, a couple of years ago when he bought the car. So we got the proper console and the proper slapstick shift for a 71. So yeah, so the interior is going back to white, which it was originally, except the exterior, sorry, is going to be red. Anyway, it's been done quite a lot of work really already. We've gone backwards because it was running and driving, and now it's not because I had to pull the dash out. So I got the air conditioning unit over here, so I'm just getting a heater core sorted for the moment. Then I've got to clean this all up, and I'm going to pull the evaporator out and get it checked to make sure it's not leaking, and then I'll go through the valves and make sure at least that they're holding suction and they seem like they might work. So I have to do that once I put it back together. And of course I'm going through the dash as well. I've got to change the dash to black. This car was dark green originally with a white interior, and it would have had probably a goldy colour carpet, I'm guessing, and a goldy coloured dash, which is what it is now. So I'm going to convert that to black, which would be suitable for a white interior. And I'm going to have a go at upholstering the dash pad, which I've had a lot of trouble doing in the past. They're actually quite tricky, but I'm going to give it a go and see if I can actually trim it in vinyl and make it look decent. Once again, the budget is on the lower side. Can't just do whatever we want. So I'm just going to try and make it look neat and tidy. It'll come up nice. He's got some nice wheels for it. He bought those 7-inch by 9-inch wide modern aluminium rally wheels, which look actually quite nice. We've run a fairly tall sidewall. I don't like the narrow tyres that give you a harsh ride, and I don't think they look right on a 60s car, so it's got quite a wide, tall sidewall. So I think they're going to look quite smart on the car. Yeah, so it's been a fair amount of work with very little video, so it's a very fast update, but I'll try and keep updated from here on and see how we go from here. I had to convert the dash to black, as I said, so repainted that. I've just got to do all assembly. I'm going to try and address these silver lines. I've got some of those chrome paint pens, which you get a reasonable result. It looks better than, you know, broken up like that than it does. It doesn't look as good as chrome, but at least it'll look better than that. So I've got to tidy that up. Someone else already cut a modern hole for a modern radio in there. And the other thing I've done is I've upholstered the dash. And it's not my best area. I do struggle a little bit with the dashboard. It's very, very shapely and hard to get the vinyl down. So had to put a stitch line through the middle here to get the shape. There's just too much stretch there. You'd never get the vinyl around. But overall, I think it's not come up too bad. At least when it's in the car, it's going to look decent. Whereas before it was a full of million cracks, and all it's cost me is a bit of vinyl and contact adhesive. So yeah, looking forward to putting that all together now, and I'll show you the end result when it's all assembled. It pays to go through as many items as you can when the dash is out, particularly because access is much better. I always make a point of going through all the globes. The very least you can do is pull each globe out, put them on the bench, test, and make sure that the globes are good. Look for any broken wires or anything that's been fiddled with by previous owners, and believe me, you can get some real bird's nests. I've found a couple of things that I've deleted, but also I've just found a broken wire, which is the plug to the fan for the fan switch, so I'm going to have to repair that. But yeah, just a few little things that pays to do when you got the dash out. I've had the luxury of being able to drive this car, so I actually know that a number of things work. Usually I don't get to drive the car for 2 years. It's in a million pieces, so for the first time I've been able to drive it pretty early. So I'm pretty happy with it. I've just got to fix this one broken wire here. And we don't know if the vacuum side of it's working for the air conditioning unit. I'm going to check all the valves in the air conditioning unit. I'm still waiting on the heater core to come back for that. So I've unbolted the evaporator. I'm going to take that up to my radiator guys and just make sure they can pressurise that, make sure that's working. And 1 step forward and 2 steps back. So we nearly got the thing assembled. I'll show it to you when it's all done. Well, there you go. That's all back together. Looks pretty decent. Obviously these are inside the car, so it's not quite as critical as what it is with Bodywork, but I'm pretty happy with that. I use the silver. They're meant to be a chrome paint pen. It's funny, you can buy these chrome paint pens, but when they're new, they really do work well. This is what it is, you get these online. But for some reason, after a little while, they just tend to go off, and they're not as chrome, they're more silver. So that's what we've got here, is a little bit more silver than chrome, but at least it looks much better than what it did before with all the chrome half worn off, you know, half brown and half chrome. So at least it looks even. Yeah, so very happy with that result. Some finger marks there. and you know, when it's sitting in the car, it's going to look pretty decent. Obviously, I got the one stitch line down, the one down the side. That's the only thing I could do. No way I could stretch the vinyl around that. So that's the only negative. But like I said, we're not going for concourse. This is just to make it a nice, tidy driver, and at least it'll look good when you look in the car and looking out the windshield. So here we go. It's looking really good. I'm looking forward to putting it all back in now. I just got the heater core back, and then I can put the air conditioning back together. Heater, air conditioner, put it back in the car. Then I can put the dash back in, and then we'll get back to where we were before, where the car's going to run and drive again, and then I can start concentrating on all the bodywork. So as you can see, I've still got a lot of work to do. This is all the sheet metal for the car. So I've literally finished the shell. That's ready for paint. That's final. But now I've got to literally do all the individual panels, make them straight. Harry's elected to go for colour-coded bumpers, so I think that'll look really good. I think that model actually looks quite good with colour-coded bumpers, so looking forward to doing that. But it saves quite a lot of money. Chrome plating costs an absolute fortune these days, so it's going to save about $3,000 probably by painting the bumper bars, so hopefully it'll look good.